Today we have two guests. We have Catt and we have Matt Kubris from, I know them as Hych Hot Sauce, but they do all kinds of cool stuff. So, but we'll start with that one.
I'm going to start with our last name, Kubris, just so as it gets out there into the minutia.
Okay, we're going to start again.
All right, I'll push everything together. Don't worry, there's
No, we can't start with me messing up.
No, that's okay.
You know what's so funny?
I'm not alone in pronouncing it that way. People write it, spell it, and say it all kinds of different ways. So yeah.
But no, I mean, ultimately, I asked you guys to come in and do this because I wanted to promote the sauce that we have that we're going to be adding to our lineup, which has got me all excited. But you have a variety.
Yes.
You know, the one we're doing is we're doing the Nashville Hot, which I think is kind of a buzzword right now. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's really talking the Nashville Hot. Yeah. And with our lineup, we have a variety of different sauces. But what's nice about this sauce is it's not in any of those categories. You know, I mean, there's, you know, the mango habanero was like a really hot one, you know, and I'm not hot, it's not like spice, but you know what I mean, like a...
Trendy. Yeah.
Thank you. But the Nashville Hot right now seems to be the one that's really kind of sweeping the area, doing that kind of stuff. But you've had this for a while.
Yeah, we came up with this one a few years back, maybe 4 years back or so. But just seeing, I think we took a trip to Nashville. And I was like, oh, there's the Nashville hot chicken. And then you're thinking about like, well, what kind of sauce? Because you have to create new things and bring it out there. And there was no Nashville hot sauce because that's not really what Nashville, that flavor is, Nashville hot chicken. It's just a process, a way of creating a particular way of eating fried chicken. And I was like, well, can we make a Nashville hot sauce? Because, you know, it's the same with our bibimbap. Well, there's a bibimbap is a Korean dish that comes with the sauce, and it's such a good flavor. And I was like, well, we could just make a hot sauce out of this and call it bibimbap because it encompasses that dish. And same thing with the Nashville hot sauce. It's not really there's not really a Nashville hot sauce. We just tried to capture the flavor of Nashville hot chicken in a hot sauce.
So how many sauces have you guys created total?
Well, for the company, we've got 5 total. Okay. But over the years, there's a whole slew of other recipes sitting on the back burner.
A lot that have not made it out into mass production. I wish we had more, but you know, we bottle these in 100-gallon kettles, and so you know it's a lot. It's expensive to produce them, and then a lot of our grocery retailers are not going to put like more than 5 SKUs on the shelf. So we have to have a place to sell them if we're going to bottle them at scale, you know.
Yeah, so I learned a little bit because we did the Hurts Once and Hurts Twice sauce, which we had to rebrand into one sauce because of the way it all kind of came out with bottling and all those types of things. So I know a little bit about the process, but I remember I came up with 2 medicine bottles that said Hurts Once and Hurts Twice with little pluses on them, you know. And I remember sneaking into Winco and putting them on the shelf going, I wonder how they would look up there. You know, that's as close as I ever got to doing anything like at what level you guys are doing at. But lately, you guys been able to land yourselves in a lot of really good places. I know that we had talked before, and Fred Meyer's was a place. And you talked to me a little bit about some of the struggles you've had trying to get that to kind of go through. But the fact that you got there was amazing because that's not an easy task. But recently, I think you're in IGA or Roth's?
We're in Roth's, and that was, I mean, we've been in Roth's since almost the very beginning. They were the second grocery store that picked us up. The first one was just a small independent store up in Portland, World Foods. And then I went to Roth's corporate headquarters for maybe like 3 months, once a week. Knocking on the door like, hey, here's the product, because I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know how the process worked. So I just showed up, and eventually Darren Rybloom, who's a great guy over at Ross, came out of his office and said, all right, let me take a look at it. And then we got on the shelf at Ross. So we've been with them since 2018.
That's amazing. People don't realize the journey. You know, people just think when you hit it, all of a sudden they go, "Oh yeah, look at that! You just created an amazing sauce."
That's right.
You're like,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
go with that.
Well, it's the same with restaurants, right? Like people say, like, "Oh, you're really good. You should have a restaurant," you know. And it's like, well, it's a lot deeper than just being able to create a delicious dish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the I think that they said that the pizza, selling pizza, and then the foundation that goes into getting to the point of being able to sell pizza is a whole different thing. And so there's a lot to it. But so you have 5 sauces that you manufacture right now.
Yep.
So what was the first one?
So the first one was the guajillo, and so when we were living in and working in Costa Rica before we started taking people down there for trips, but we decided to jump off and go live in Costa Rica back in 2014. Yeah, 2014. And I was cooking. We found jobs at a retreat center up in the mountains of Costa Rica, and I was cooking. Kat was kind of running front of the house stuff, and the owner, one of the owners of the retreat center, this guy Jan, who is married to Michelle Taggart, who's a local kind of legend. She was a Salem snowboarder, made it to the Olympics and all that. And so she and her husband opened up a retreat center in Costa Rica after she was kind of done with her professional snowboarding career. He was also a professional snowboarder, but he was, this is a long story, but he was, he's the cook at the retreat center, the chef at the retreat center. And when I got down there, I was cooking a lot, and he was showing me this hot sauce that he would make. And so this guajillo sauce is sort of a version of that sauce that was in Costa Rica.
And so he would go to the garden and he grew peppers. So he would pick tomatoes and peppers and herbs and onions and garlic and make the sauce from scratch. Yeah. So when we got here, Matt would cook it in our kitchen here, and like the kitchen smelled amazing, like tomatoes and roasted peppers, and so that was the first one. And then we started eating at the Happy Beeb and Bop house all the time, right here in Chebecca. And then we were like, we should make Beeb and Bop sauce. So that was the second sauce. And the tamarind, I think you were at like one of the Mexican Hispanic markets in town and picked up a tamarind pod and thought, oh, I wonder if we could make a sauce out of tamarind.
Yeah, well, that one's connected to the Salem kind of restaurant scene too, because Shannon, what's Shannon's last name?
Oh, right, at the yard.
Okay, yeah.
She owns the yard, and we got connected, and she had her own food cart there in the beginning, and she was wanting sauces for a food cart. And so she asked me about sauces, and I was like, oh, I could create some sauce. And I went to the store one day and was kind of looking at random ingredients, and there was tamarind, and I was like, oh, I'm going to grab that. And I made her a sauce, but then I made myself a sauce as well.
Yeah.
And the tamarind was the third sauce.
Yeah.
And
You people with palates make me crazy, because you're right though. But how exciting is that? I mean, that's that true entrepreneurial mind of like, I think people mix it up with, yes, we'd all like to be rich and all that kind of stuff and be able to, travel the world and do those things. But really it's that passion, where you guys are like, oh, you know what? I wonder if we can do that. I wonder how we can construct that. That's really kind of in itself.
We're rich. I'll tell you that was
26 years in the industry and I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah, somebody asked me the other day what the greatest thing between 26 years, what is the biggest surprise I've had? And mine was I still have exactly the same approach today as I did 26 years ago. The very first day we opened, it was no different. And so it sounds like what you guys are doing, you're like every time you're like I'm just not a sauce. It's just I think it's just the mindset, But yeah, so my question is, I saved a question for you. I actually did a little research. I've got all kinds of stuff to ask you because, the band, I've got all kinds of stuff. But what was your biggest flop, basically, that turned into something? You can give me the biggest flop and that was just completely flop and we just scrapped the whole thing. But one that you didn't expect to go and then it just kind of became a good thing. Like, is there anything that you guys have dealt with where you're like, oh, yeah, this isn't working at all. And the next thing you know, it's a foundation for something that actually was good for you guys.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm sure that has happened.
Think about so many flops.
Yeah. A lot of times, actually, we think about the reverse where you have like a great day, like something so great happens and you feel so successful and you think, you work, 2 or 3 years of just like pushing and pushing, and then finally you get like a big break, and it's really fun for like 5 minutes, and then you put your head back down and you just keep working, I like the great deals where you're like, you get the free trial in Fred Meyer, or you get to be we were recently on like a big NPR podcast, or you win some special awards in New York at the Hot Sauce Show.
Well, thinking about a flop could be the Fred Meyer experience.
Yeah.
So, not that Fred Meyer, great store. We love you, Fred Meyer. But we worked so hard to get there, and we spent a ton of money to make it happen. And then it just fell apart. The distribution of the product out to the stores, and then and just things not happening the way we thought they were supposed to happen. And so that led to some things. That led to, one, just the lesson of knowing, like, okay, there's a whole lot there that could go wrong, and it helps you to dial in your process, so you're crossing your own T's and dotting your own I's and making sure that it all happens correctly. But it also led to trying to find a different pathway. And that's led us down a pathway where we're working on smaller boutique retail stores across the United States. And we found a broker that works on that kind of thing. And we just said, this is where our energy really needs to be with our company, because we're just too small to deal with big grocery. We've got the capacity to do it, but we just don't have the amount of money that you need to put into it and dump into that process. So it led us down a different pathway, and that's been good.
Well, there's a lot of layers to that big business stuff. And I think it's just, to me, like why we want to work with local companies. It's like, to me, there's a lot of stuff we can buy that we can put in there like everybody else does in so many ways. But I am always really guided by the fact that, like, how can we get away with this? How can we do that? Like when you and I first sat down, it was like, all right, how can we make this happen? What do we have to do to make this happen? And I have my own struggles because I've got my own layers. Here I am. I'm supposed to be the big boss, make all the right decisions and do all that stuff. But then I've got all these other people that have different ideas, like, do we need this? And so it was a struggle on my side until I finally, again, you kind of weather those storms and go, okay, so if that's not working, how do we make it work?
Yeah.
And again, looking past the obvious of like, okay, so this is not working this way. And so then we kept in contact.
Yeah.
I
mean,
like
2 years.
Yeah.
Or so, right?
I can't believe it's been 2 years. I mean, really, has it been that long?
I think so. I mean, it's been a significant chunk of time of sort of, and that's the lesson too, the patience that it takes to get to the, and you have to just stick with it. Every once in a while I'd be like, I should probably write Michael and say like, hey, what's going on? So.
Well, I think, for me, there are certain things that I want to do, and I can't let them go. I got to find ways, to make it happen. A lot of it's timing, and situational stuff, and then sometimes you just got to go against the grain, But I'm sure that, work with a lot of the smaller boutiques versus like the conglomerates like Fred Meyer's and things like that, the big monsters. They're all sexy and sound great, and you think, oh my God, this is it, but. There's got to be a lot of good stuff that comes out with those contacts with all the smaller distributors and things like that, because they're closer kind of to the personalities and that. So I think this is a way you guys are going to find all kinds of cool stuff all over the United States too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But how far east have you guys gone?
We're in so many small boutique retailers. They're all over the country, like Maine,
New York, Syracuse, North Carolina, Florida.
Georgia,
yeah.
Like,
so you get to visit these places, right?
Right.
You got to get in the car and start visiting and checking it out,
Because not many chains out there.
Getting your sauce on the shelf is one thing, right? Like that's really great that we can make this deal with some boutique store in North Carolina, but if customers can't taste it, the velocity is going to just go really slow. So it is true. We got to go and visit the stores and
we will not
sample
be
the product.
all the stores that we're stocking. I would love to, but it's just not feasible. It would be cool though. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be super cool.
I had, we were working on our sauce. you know, people have this great illusions of grandeur when it comes to all that stuff, and I'm as passionate as unrealistic and illusions of grandeur that I have. I still am based pretty solid with the whole, like, okay, if we're going to make this happen, then this is what's going to happen. And I know that, like, I go to the Pizza Expo, which is our big pizza convention in Las Vegas, and I've checked out what it would cost to rent a table and do those types of things. And I thought, kind of what you guys are dealing with, though, is I thought if I can go there and I have like 200 people fall in love with this sauce, I mean, that would be amazing, right? Yeah. But if you scatter those 200 across the United States, then distribution. How do you get distribution? How do you get them on shelves? How do you do this? How do you keep the volume up? And there's so many questions when you do that. Your broker that you work with, though, are they, I mean, do they have minimums? Do they have those types of things? Or is it just, I mean, because shipping and things like that, it ups the per ounce cost on sauce and things like that. And so
it just went up, actually, too.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of this situation, you know, distribution is such a thorn in so many people's side for people like us who provide to stores, and then they require you to work with a distributor, and then the distributor, as you talk about, do they have minimums? Like, are they going to hold a case or a pallet of sauce? Are they going to pay for the storage? So the distribution game we've talked so long, it's a really broken from our perspective of being a manufacturer and needing it to get out there, whereas you're kind of on the other end, right? You're on the side of get that distributor's bringing you something, and it's convenient because maybe it all comes on one truck. This situation with the broker we're using, we're just responsible for the shipping. So we've taken the distribution responsibility and we just do it ourselves. So that takes getting a 3PL, third-party logistics, to do that stuff for us, and we pay for that, and then our cost to that restaurant includes the distribution fee.
Okay, because I know that, like, you know, we deal with insurance minimums, we deal with different things like that. Like, we'll find a really good local product that we're like, we need to be able to get this, and for us to for it to go through our distributor is convenient for us in the sense of, like, less variables. You know, when we went down the vegan road, that was very difficult because, you know, to get vegan products that have gone through all that's needed to do to get to the distributor, you know, so the vegan products we have one product that goes through our distributor, we have one that's a special order that they'll do, and then we have one that we buy directly from the warehouse. And so just to try to get products is not always as simple as you would think. And mail, yes, can be tough. Like, we sat down, we're like, so how do you want to get these out to all your stores? I'm like, he goes, I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll ship them out there, you know. So we got this thing where when they need something, they just bring it to us. And the way we do our franchises, we go visit them every week. And so we have it's already kind of part of our process. And so we since we do different local things, it gives us the opportunity to be able to get stuff out there, where we would be hamstrung if we had to wait for a distributor to go through all the paperwork and all those different things and stuff. Because we've been working with some local, like Michelle Ashley's Cakes and stuff like that. We do stuff with her. And even our beer from Sandy M. You know, we have that, the beer, our Kicking Cancer beer, you know, and that we do for charity. And so it's neat to work with local, but there's always obstacles, but you just can always figure out a way to do that. And so what's your guys' biggest hill to climb right now then?
You know, I would just say, like, sustaining. What do you think? Biggest hill to climb right now? I mean, I have a full-time job now. There was a point when we were both full-time growing the brand, and then it just wasn't sustainable, like with the mortgage and, you know, retirement savings and all that. So we both have full-time jobs, but luckily we have flexible schedules to work remotely, but Matt has more time during the week to devote to growing the brand and just, you know, finding new partnerships, reaching out to restaurants. It's our new, the food service channel. So, but yeah.
That's always, I think, the big hill is always the sales.
Yeah.
Just getting out there and getting new customers.
And just, and keeping the momentum going. You know, we're coming up on 10 years. And the funny story about our brand that we always tell is we were living in Costa Rica, and we thought when we moved back to Oregon, and we're like, okay, let's come up with a product that we can sell, passively, and so then we can just live in Costa Rica and just get money coming into our bank account.
That's gonna be
Maybe
great.
we told you this
I know.
story. Yeah.
Oh, I'm right on board with you right now. I am
Right,
fully on board with you right now.
So, and then we were like, this is great. We'll do hot sauce. It's super trendy and popular. Like, that's shelf stable. We'll get it out there. And so we're like, this is a good 2-year plan, 2 years. And then, of course, after 2 years, we're like, this is a good 5-year plan. So now we're coming up on 10 years. I'm like, this is like a 25-year plan. No,
But
we've definitely taken trips to Mexico and Costa Rica and had sales coming in. But it's not passive when you own your own business. Unless, some people come up with a passive plan, but we're not selling like a digital product. Like, this is very hands-on, and it's become so locally rooted that we really started it too, so we could be very flexible and remote. And we found out pretty quickly, if you're going to grow through farmers markets, which is a great way to start, like, you're not going to be remote. You're going to be at the farmers markets. So, and it's fun. We love it.
We have this thing where it says, whatever you do today, you won't even see for 3 months. And so for you guys, laying in front of Ross' door, hey, excuse me, Matt. I just want to talk to you. Please talk to me. You have to be that. But again, it's that by attrition. You really succeed by attrition.
Yes, that's true.
In the game.
You have to put it out there enough. So that there's this, at the end, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
just filters down to, 100 tries filters down to 2 successes.
What's that old saying? It's planting trees, you'll never have the ability to sit in the shade or something like that. I know that's a thing about, like how good people always plant trees that of shade they'll never sit in, this is kind of like business, you're like, please just go through all this, this trimming and pruning and watering and fertilizer, whatever you need to do. But just to get this tree to stay upright.
But I think you don't expect it when you start, especially if you're not a serial entrepreneur. Like, neither of us have business degrees, and in the beginning it's very exciting, and every win is huge, and you see the dollars going up. But eventually it was very shocking to me to realize, like, oh wait, in order for the revenue to increase, our overhead keeps increasing. Like, you just bring on more tools and more contract help and more, booth fees or whatever it is, and the cost of producing sauce, and then everything is getting more expensive. And so we're like, like, the revenue's climbing, but so are the costs of,
it's never simple math.
So,
I'll tell you right now, the best way to succeed in business is to not doing math. It's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm just going to keep going. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow will be Wednesday.
That's right.
But I don't know. I'm glad that we're finally able to crack this egg. I've got all the sauces out. I just got to get it to Canby is all. And so, but everybody's fired up about it, and we just got to figure out how how we're going to launch it. I know that Ashley's going to be putting a lot of stuff on our social media stuff. And
we'll do the same.
And we'll have some stuff, and we'll have some different clicks, and so they can order it directly from you guys as well, so they can get like these packs and things like that. And what's nice about it is, people that can order from us get them on their wings and all that, but at the same time, these things have more uses than just wings.
Absolutely.
I know I've tried a couple different ones when I'm barbecuing and stuff. So, because when you first sat down, I think that's what it was. I think when we first sat down, you guys gave me a pack of that, and I'm out. So I'm like, I should probably call Matt real quick and say, hey, whatever happened? We need to get together and start doing this.
Right.
But no, I know. I think we talk probably about once every couple months, I think. Just kind of touch base where you at and how's it going. And so, and then I saw you up at, what was it? Was it Lapine? Lapine. We're out there. We saw the band and stuff. And
last summer, it was about a year ago,
see, we got to quit talking about timelines because Mike's getting old,
I love it.
So other than the sauce, because I think the sauce is going to be big. I think that's really exciting. It's just, other than this, you say you have a full-time job.
Yeah.
And you have a full-time job.
Marketing.
Are you all in here in Salem area?
Well, my company is based on the Oregon coast, so I handle all their marketing, but I work remotely, and then we get to go to the beach a couple times a month, and I do social media for them, and network and stuff, so really fun.
So we've clearly established that I know nothing about, and Ashley takes care
The
of. But
marketing, yeah, we'd have a lot to talk about. I'm
so you guys are doing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, because I know you travel. I've seen some of the different venues that you're playing at and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, the band just plays a little bit here and there, but it's really important, right? That creative outlet, that's like, the cornerstone of my existence, so that's good. And then I teach, so right now I'm like in between classes. I've got a class to run to at 3, but
Oh, yeah.
I taught 2 classes at this morning, all around
teaches
restaurant
online.
management. Yeah, I teach online.
Yeah.
So business classes, restaurant management, cost controls, purchasing, food service management, stuff like that. So that's why you've got to come in and be a guest speaker in my class.
Be the real world person
Oh.
telling these
Yeah.
students how to
You know,
really
I'll.
is.
You already made him nervous.
I'm already nervous. And you know what's funny is I get really nervous, but then when I get into what we do,
Yeah.
it's really simple because it's just what I've done my whole life.
Yeah.
I had to speak in front of what they call Cisco Tech for Cisco. They have all their 2-year younger recruits going to this room, and they have to listen to somebody speak and blah blah blah. They asked me to speak, and so I went in there, and here I've got like a room of like 50 people in suits, and they're all so fancy looking, and I'm like, ah. And I think the hardest thing is I don't know what to tell them. I can open my world up to them, but I really don't know what's going to help them and what they do, because it's like I'm not talking to people that want to do what I do. They just want to figure out how to crack this nut and get me to buy and stuff. And so, but after you just ask me a question, that's it. And so if you're doing online classes for that, I mean, do you have it all set up the way you want to do it, or is it more hands-on? I know you're on computer, but I mean like hands-on as far as like, you're teaching people that need to know what they need to know in different.
Yeah, like these are people that are going for a degree in like culinary management or culinary or whatever it is, and then the classes are set up, the curriculum's all set up, and then my job is just creating an engaging class that makes them feel inspired to keep on going. And so I talk a lot about, I mean, I'm 30 years in the industry and lots of restaurants and teaching and lots of, I think, adventurous stories, like going to Costa Rica, and I've worked on boats, and I go out, and last year I cooked for hunters in the wilderness, and so
Yeah,
like,
you talked to me about that.
yeah. So like, hopefully like those and I own a hot sauce company, so hopefully that those
You were on a
things.
cooking show.
I was on a cooking show. There's like, hopefully those things can be inspiring to them. To know that there's a pathway, right? So like, how am I going to get from, $8 an hour or $15 an hour to like $40,000 for a salary to $60,000 to how can I get there?
You have to enjoy the journey, because people say, "Oh, I'm so passionate about food," and passion's one thing, but the discipline is another. And because you have to be passionate what you do, and then 2, you have to have the discipline to enjoy the journey, because like I said, 10 years, and stuff. But it's also all those cool moments.
That's right.
I think of it like a vacation. When you go on vacation, it's like you got to pack, you got to travel, you got to do all this, and you got to get acclimated to where you're at, and the list goes on and on and on. But there's that moment in there that's just, it's like,
Right.
and then you're right back,
Yeah.
And I think
Someone call that waiting to exhale.
Right.
and but so you guys are busy and all that kind of stuff. So what is the next step? You guys are just working on the local distributorships, and I mean not local, but you know what I mean, the boutiques and things like that. So what's the next? Just continue to push that. Is there any?
Yeah, Matt, do you have a secret flavor you're planning to unveil?
Oh, see, I knew there was something coming.
No secret flavor at the moment. I mean, definitely.
I'm always trying to get him to put out a new flavor.
Well, what we need to do, because as Catt talked about earlier, the whole deal of, we use a co-packer that makes our sauces for us, and there's minimums that you have to do. And so to create a new sauce and make 100 gallons of it, which fills up 1,300 bottles. You know, it's like, ugh, like, do we want, and it costs a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
Like, do we want to do that? But what we should be doing, or what I should be doing, is getting into a commercial kitchen and before big events, just producing some sort of one-off, like, special sauces that we can take to the event and be like, oh yeah, you got to try the, you know, whatever it is. I won't say the secret sauces that I have.
But the good thing is that you can still be creative. You can still get into
Yeah.
that creative
Yeah.
space and stuff. So
Absolutely. Yep.
have you gotten to know, like, you pretty much know all the different chefs around town and things like that? Do you have people that ask you to create them stuff around town?
No, I mean, we know a handful. I know a handful, but no one's asking me to, like, create anything for them.
Well, I think chefs and all that, they kind of have their own,
Right. They're creating their thing.
you know?
Yeah.
People ask you to come and cook for them sometimes. You did cooking classes for a long time, and then you don't do catering, but sometimes people will be like, I'm having a big party, can you please come and cook? And they'll hire you to come and just cook for the evening so
Yep.
they don't have to cook.
So they don't
and,
have to
you
do
know,
it.
sometimes I get to go and help.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
fun.
fun,
Yeah.
So one thing that when I was working with the chef, I was the Sherpa. I was the one cutting all the vegetables and all that stuff. Yeah. Because I was learning, because I don't have the palate and I didn't know how to construct food. I've never gone to any kind of classes. I've never done anything that. I mean, I'm in the preparing food industry, so it's not like I'm like, oh, this pepperoni, I've been, you know. No, I don't sit and slice all this stuff. It's like it all comes somewhat prepared. We do as much like with sauces and things as we can. We do make our own dough, all that stuff. But still, it's in the preparing industry. You know, just prepared foods, and I just organize it. So. But when I was working for, I really, a lot of people talk about doing like chef's tables and things like that, where you just do a one-off, you know, to do that. I've been trying to talk him into doing this for years, and he just won't do it. Nobody does those things around town where you have like a special, I mean, I think it's more of a big catered event and things like that, but
Yeah.
I was thinking more of like an intimate setting.
Yeah.
You know, something where you can create, you know, something that was just specific to like a small group of people.
Yeah. Well, you know Joe No? He was Chubby Bauhaus down in the.
I'm familiar with the name of that, but I don't
Yeah.
know the gentleman.
Joe and Sarah No owned that place, and they sold it recently. But Joe and I had talked about doing what you're talking
Kind
about.
of like a pop-up, like a
Yeah.
once
Just,
a month or once a quarter, right?
Yeah, look, once a quarter was what I was
Yeah.
thinking, because the gentleman that I talked to, he knew all the different chefs and the different restaurants and stuff. And I thought, just to do like you come in as like a guest chef or whatever. And I said, because then you could really blow it up socially and with social marketing and things like that. And it's like, this is how much a plate is. And so you have a quarter to fill that table basically. And I thought that'd be kind of neat, because people would start to want to like, I want to go to this one. And then you kind of create a completely new thing. So you could be able to like, you could do new sauces, new dishes, new this, and just have it as a unique thing. But to be able to really promote the brand that you do and how you have, I think that would be neat if you could get, because the venue I think would be tough, but I'm pretty sure that you could connect with each different place and be able to say, hey, this is my idea, you know, kind of thing. But again, not my world, but it sounded like such a cool idea.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
you know,
You manage
At a
it.
winery.
Joe and I will do the cooking. And we'll create it.
yeah, I just thought that would be just kind of fun to be able to play, because I think every chef's dream is to be able to just play.
Yeah.
Not be like locked in. And,
Yeah. And that's the part about like in our industry, it's like once you get a great pizza that people love, you want to just execute it exactly like that
Yeah.
Right,
and all the
right.
time.
Yep.
And I started getting into the brewing thing, and I like that because everybody likes variety. So then you can just change. Being a chef, you guys can kind of just, you know, come up with new stuff all the time. But having the platform to be able to do something like that would be different.
Yeah.
I will say, because I've kind of got this twisted, this whole thing is, we've got something called with the Prospect Pizza that we're going to start doing. And what it is, because you have the all-star lineup, you know, we do baseball, you know, that's kind of our thing. So having a prospect is almost like having a kid in the AAAs and AAs or whatever like that. So we have a prospect pizza that has not made it on the all-star lineup, because, you know, we have our all-star lineup. And so each location is going to have their own prospect pizza and stuff. And I thought, if you want to play with some sauces,
Yeah.
and you want to create a pizza around those sauces, we can start popping them into different places around Odd Moe's and saying, as you just for something fun, if you're bored.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys are just like,
Spare
you know,
time.
I've got nothing to do.
That's what most of our days are like.
Yeah, we're just sitting around.
Pretend.
Oh, do you want to play another game of backgammon?
Right,
You know.
A lot of pickleball.
Yeah. Well, you start with a Nashville hot chicken pizza.
Yeah.
Like that's there it is. We got the.
Well, we're gonna get. I can't wait to get that going. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
In fact, Charles, we have this other product that we're doing. We're doing like a white mac, like a queso mac, and we put pepperoni in it. And so white queso mac with pepperoni. So it's kind of got a neat little thing to it. And Charles, as we're trying the sauce, he's like, he tasted. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna pour some of that in there. And he is on this carnivore diet thing, you know. So he was like, mixes it in, and starts eating it. He gets through this big half bowl of pasta, and he picks his fork up, he throws it in the trash, goes, that's it, I can't do it. I can't eat anymore. I'm like, are you all right? And he goes, no, it's delicious. And I just want to keep eating it. And so he goes and he hands it to Cheyenne, his daughter, who's working there, and says, here, take this away. Just, take it away.
You eat
So
it.
so I can't wait till we can get it kind of started and rolling, because it's
sounds great.
I think it'll be fun for us. We won silver for the best of Willamette in the wings
Oh, nice.
without your sauce.
All right.
If
Yeah,
we had your
yeah.
sauce,
Yeah, stepping
maybe
up to
that
the
would have
next
been
level
different.
next year.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
And we're coming into football season, right? In the
Yeah,
fall,
wing
so,
season.
we could do a lot of promos around the
Yeah.
wings
Yeah.
and-
So I think it'll be fun, and I'm just finally glad we're finally cracking this egg.
Yeah.
You should probably
great.
go to Nashville to promote this.
Oh, see, I've never been to Nashville. No.
Yeah,
You would love it, right? All the music.
Yeah,
I just went to my wife and I went on we went through the Panama Canal.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And so we landed in New Orleans. I've never been to New Orleans, but we landed during the morning, and we tried to get a room and all that, but they were having a Taylor Swift concert the same weekend, so there was nothing available.
Right.
So my time in New Orleans went from a weekend to Friday. We're leaving at 3:00.
Oh man.
But I would love to do that, and so Nashville's another one of those places that I
Yeah.
just would like to be able to spend some time at. But because you talk about food in
Right.
Louisiana, also.
Yeah.
I had visions of alligator, is what I had visions of.
Oh, no. So
Didn't
you're
we
gonna
just
like
have
a
some
plane?
alligator? Oh, we were at the smoke show.
Yeah, we're at like a barbecue.
Santiam
competition.
Smoke
Oh, you were
Show.
talking to me about out there in Sweet Home.
Yeah, in Sweet
Yeah,
Home.
we
Yeah,
went
yeah.
down there and they spent forever cooking this alligator, and finally they brought some samples around. And
Yeah, we had it.
frankly, I like chicken better, but
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of
Yes.
puffy. It's interesting.
Puffy.
But, it was sort of a puffy meat. It was very
Well,
interesting.
you guys travel a lot,
Yeah,
and
we
so the thing
travel
for
a
me
lot,
is I love the food, but it's
yeah.
a hit and miss in a lot of ways. I do know that going around and getting pizza in different places, not so much.
Really?
No, it's just because mostly it's just like kind of manufactured to cover the base, It's like the grilled cheese of the industry, But I tried different things, and so you guys have probably tried some exotic foods. Anything that you guys would be like, I can't believe we actually ate this?
Maybe for you, I like to eat anything pretty much. So I don't know, but you've got some standards.
I have to do gluten and dairy free, which is no fun
Okay.
for pizza. So I just frankly don't eat a lot of pizza because I know there's substitutions, but it's not as good as the real thing. I will say I lived in Iceland for a year and I ate the rotten shark's head thing, and that was
And they ferment and pickle
interesting.
everything.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
right. Yeah. It wasn't awful.
I went to
That's
Norway with my
adventurous.
mom.
Eat it every day, but
I went to Norway with my mom, and one of the things they had on the plane was about all of the different chefs and stuff like that in Iceland and how they use everything.
wow, right?
Nothing goes to waste. And they talk about in different seasons, they have these different things that they cook because they use the entire everything.
Right.
And
yeah.
so I imagine, but it was fermented.
The whole story is like, in the old days they would like bury it in their yard and stuff,
Salted, cured.
Yeah, exactly.
Pickles, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Ooh. I mean, I don't remember it being terrible. What else? Your parents love to travel and eat. I recall we were at a fancy restaurant in Santa Fe with them, and they served like tongue for an appetizer. I think I tried it, but normally I
actually
wouldn't
really
eat
popular.
all these parts
Yeah.
of the animal.
Popular.
Yeah.
Well, like tacos are pretty popular, and
That's
that's
true.
pretty common. You can
Yeah.
find them, but this was more like a pate
like
made
on
with
the
tongue.
plate.
Like it was
Yeah.
just it was a pretty interesting dish. But on the pizza realm, I'm a huge pizza fan, and East
He
Coast
loves it for breakfast,
New
especially.
Haven pizza
Oh yeah.
from Sally's or Pepe's in New Haven, Connecticut is
Yeah.
like that's.
Could you reconstruct that here?
So I've tried, and
Why did I doubt that he hadn't tried this? I don't know what would. Yeah.
but there's some certain
Didn't you get one in
things.
a box once? Like
Well,
they
you can,
ship
yeah.
it
There's
from
like
ship
Gold
it across the
Belly is like
country?
a
Oh,
food
yeah,
thing, and
okay.
you can get Sally's pizza sent to you, frozen, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
But there's these guys called the Pizza Gavones on YouTube that are New Haven pizza, like they're trying to figure it all out. And so I've watched that, and they like there's a certain hydration to the dough, and when they mix it, they only mix it to where it looks like oatmeal, so they're not like kneading at that point, and then it sits overnight, ferments overnight, and then they knead it and lay it out. It's thin crust. They have a particular sauce, way, the particular mozzarella. And so I've tried, and there they have coal-fired ovens, and you can't have a coal-fired oven here anywhere. It's all outlawed and whatnot. But they have, and so how do you reproduce a coal-fired oven in your own oven? So I have a steel plate. And then you crank the oven to as hot as you possibly can get, but I'm not going to get 800 degrees.
No, you need a forge.
Yeah, right. I need a forge. Yeah.
I have a forge, but it's like a little box.
Yeah.
I stick the knife in there, and wait for it to heat up so I can hammer it some more.
Right.
I'm going to be making you a chef knife at some point.
Oh,
so.
man.
Right now, I've made it to where I could do a shiv. That's about the quality that I can do. But
Easier to end up in prison.
but Josh, and I'm going to screw up his last name too.
Yeah, Josh. Right.
And I won't say his last name, but we all know who he is
Yeah.
now.
Well,
But
Matt
Josh.
has a gift certificate
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make a knife.
Oh,
So-
yeah,
Yeah,
we went
yeah.
for our 25th, not to kick off the story, I'm sorry, for our
Yeah.
25th anniversary, I took all the franchisees there.
Oh my gosh.
And so I wanted it to be like, something different that nobody else has done. And then Charles out in South, him and I got the bug. And we're like, oh man, we need to do this.
That's cool.
And so we started kind of getting the equipment and things like that. And so, but my goal is not to make commercially sold knives or any even like go to craft sales like that. I just wanted to make a good chef knife. I want a good balanced chef knife that I could give to some of my friends that do that kind of stuff, that they would be able to use it as a utility knife to just, because I didn't want it to be pretty. I wanted it to be like, people go, oh man, that is an awesome knife, and then give them the two leather straps that they can sharpen with, because a lot of people, they use a sharpener. It's like, no, you just leather straps and stuff. So I'm learning a little bit, but Josh is my
He's your
teacher.
guy. Yeah, nice.
That's
We just
great.
made some Damascus knife.
Oh,
where the
man.
metal looks all,
So you were folding it and folding it and folding it?
Yeah, so we
Wow.
did that, and so Charles and I went to that
Now
class,
I'm
and then he's
inspired.
gonna show me how to do it, where you can put like a little gold thing in the knife and all that. So,
Dude.
never mind. I don't know how we got on that story, but
Cool.
anyway.
No, I love that. That's
Well,
awesome.
expect some holiday gifts.
Yes. So, see, I get so. This is where Ashley goes. Oh, good Lord, my! Now I got to cut this. I got to cut that, and I got to do that.
Well,
but
you're going to have
that's
to
good,
increase
yeah.
the size of your forge so you can do knives and pizza.
yeah,
Right? Oh, that's what you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
The
the
Sally's.
pizza.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I was going to say, because we're in the conveyor belt industry, so we have limitations. And a lot of people don't realize that the pizza industry is broken into different compartments, and it's like you have the take and bake industry, which their compartment is basically, they have to dumb down their dough, I guess is the best way to put it. They got to take a lot of the salt and sugars and yeast out of there because they're giving it to somebody who, for all they know, is going to go stick it in their trunk for 4 hours,
Right.
Oh.
And so we can't, because our dough is very active and it's very, whatever. But that's what the flavor is. So you have the pizza take and bake industry, and then you have the conveyor belt industry, which is all the heavy hitters that I got to deal with. And then you have like the gas brick ovens or like the parlor styles. So you have like either the Chicago styles or, like what you're talking about in New Haven, where they've got that brick oven, which I guess they do the coal fire and stuff. And that's all about that heat. And so you have to design a dough that can handle that, and the Pizza Expo I was talking about when I went there last time, I always go to the dough classes. I'm still such a student, I go to Vegas and I'm like, let me
Hopefully
let
we
me
need some pizza
let me
there.
learn some stuff.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you just eat everywhere you go.
Oh my
Mostly it's
God.
desserts for me, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So then you have that industry, and so I wondered that that heat to be able to create that dough with the the different pH levels and the different all that stuff makes a big difference.
Yeah.
It's such a simple thing but there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it. Yeah, there's so many different variables, and yeah, like you're saying, like the dough alone is, it can come out a million different ways. And so, and where are you cooking it? How are you baking that? Like,
And a lot of people don't realize that. People always go like, "Oh yeah, New York style is so much different than yours." Blah blah blah. A lot of it's a water. It's just different water.
Right.
And so when you're doing that stuff, when you have a different water, I mean, even in the Salem area, our Kaiser's dough reacts a little bit differently than the South Salem dough,
interesting.
which reacts differently than the McMinnville dough. Just because the water's just got different levels of different things in there. So it's kind of funny how just those little things. And so you go from the East Coast water to the West Coast water, and that's a big variable that people don't consider.
Does the air make a difference, like humidity levels and stuff?
Yeah, the way, because like we temp our flour even. Like we'll temp our water, we'll temp our flour, and then that way you have that consistency, going in. And then however long you mix your dough, if you mix it for 7 minutes versus 12 minutes, that amount of mixing will really affect the temperature of the dough as well. So there's just these different variables that we try a lot to kind of curb. Again, 20-year-olds, like, dude, why are you mixing it for 14 minutes? It's like, well, yeah, because it makes it nice and soft. I'm like, you're missing the point here. I get that, but it does that during the process, so that's what I deal with. I deal with nothing but variables. Is there anything you guys would like to bring up that you would like to help promote? Because Ashley's really good about linking stuff, and she also is going to put your logos in there. She's going to put, I don't know if you've seen any of our podcasts. Nobody ever does, but sorry, we're trying to get
now.
people. But the thing is
It's growing.
I just
Yeah.
listened to like 2 podcasts, and they're like celebrity, national, so
Yeah.
no offense. I'm excited to know you have one though.
Yeah.
I think for us, it's just about connecting the community.
Yeah.
And so, like, Gil was nice enough to let us use our studio here.
It's beautiful.
We had our own little studio that had like sports pennants up, and I have 3 jerseys on the wall, and I had all my other stuff. But
You have a Colorado Buffaloes pennant I saw.
yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we could have talked about was football.
Yeah.
Oh, see, there's all these stories. All right, so talk to me here.
Like, when they first changed those rules, tell me if I'm getting this right, there was an athlete named, like a couple agencies reached out to us. They're like, hey, we've got some athletes. Maybe we could pair you up with someone. You could sponsor them.
I'm sure you know Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner.
He was Cincinnati, and now he's pro for, I can't remember.
Yeah.
where he
Anyway,
went,
we were
but
like, oh, that'd be
Maybe he's
perfect.
with the Eagles.
His name was literally
Sauce.
Sauce, and we have a
Yeah.
hot sauce, and he's fast and a great player, but we couldn't afford him. I mean, yeah.
Well, it
Different
was
stuff.
literally like minute by minute. We got with this agency. He said like, okay, it's $500 for 3 Instagram posts, and we're like, okay, we'll let you know. And we had to talk about it when we shouldn't have talked about it. We should have said yes, because we came back.
Well, that was actually pretty affordable.
The next,
I thought it was
I know.
thousands of
Well,
dollars.
that was right in the very beginning.
Oh, and
and
it
the next
quickly
day we
went
came
up.
back and we said, okay, we want to do it. And they're like, oh, well, it's 1,000 now. And it was just like, doom, 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 doom,
Yeah,
so that whole thing just like, it just blew up. And if they had something like being named Sauce Gardner and had, hot sauce companies, like,
Well, the big dumper now for the Mariners is getting sponsored by Honey Bucket
that's
because he just won the home run derby.
What is the big
That's his nickname, and I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. He's been all over the news. So Cal Raleigh, his nickname is the Big Dumper,
Oh, God.
and it's because he's got a
the Honey
big
Bucket
caboose. So Honey Bucket is sponsoring him now, and
That's
it's just they're kind of running with it. At first, Cal Raleigh didn't like the nickname at first, and because it was more of a personal nickname, and then it just kind of blew up, and now he's forever known, and of course media's just taken to that like crazy.
I'm sure.
Media's like,
Make a lot of money off of that,
the
I
Big
hope.
Dumper.
Yeah,
And so that's funny how certain things like that you can kind of jump on. So Sauce Gardner would have been that'd have been magical.
yeah.
I don't know. It's that's Sauce Gardner's. That's kind of a unique situation because that's his
That
actual
was
name.
pretty
So
cool.
our first original name for a company was Primetime Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And we went to trademark the Primetime, and basically there was like 4 or 5 other companies that had their hat in the ring. Deion Sanders was one of them, because he
my
was prime time, you know.
Yeah.
So
But
funny.
ESPN and some other multimedia companies were trying to secure that name because prime time was so common with the prime time news and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And so they said, well, if you want to put your hat in the ring, it's going to be about 50 grand minimum, and that just gets your hat in the ring.
Right.
And we were like, okay, we'll come up with another name.
Yeah, right. No problem.
Hey, no problem.
I was gonna say.
You know, you could have said $50. I'd have been up. Looks like we're coming up with a new name. But it is interesting, those little moments that you wonder,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
if that would have been,
Yep.
if that would have been what had done it,
Yeah.
you know. And
Can't dwell, though.
no,
Yeah.
heck no, you just move on, wipe it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just keep moving. And so, you know, I hope you guys hit it. It's I heard that you have to have one. If you have one good sauce,
Okay.
once you
Yeah.
hit the one good sauce, that's what does it. And
All
so,
right.
That Nashville's our best seller. You guys picked the right one.
well,
Yeah.
it's really good though.
I
I mean, it really is.
I like our sauces. Yeah.
Well, for your listeners, if you want to try our sauce, go to Roth's grocery store. It's been a great supporter of us over the years. So, and if you want to check us out, heatyoucanhandle.com is our website, and then our social media is at Hych_HeatYouCanHandle.
Yeah, and Ashley put all that on there. And also, you guys have this packet right here that has the variety of sauces, which is perfect, you know. And so, because I just know that sauces, yeah, there's so much barbecuing going on right now.
Yeah, these
Yep.
are great. They're not too spicy.
Do they have kind of a thing on there that says that this is good with this kind of meat or that kind of meat? Or
We
A
don't
little bit, but more our
put that on
website.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just didn't have room. It's got all the nutrition.
yeah, I know there's like so much room to go around.
Yeah, they are all gluten, dairy, and nut free. So for anyone who's interested in that. And I did want to mention a couple of big fun events that we have coming up that anyone can find us at. One is the McMillan Farms Hot Sauce Expo. This will be like year 4 or 5. So that's up in Puyallup, Washington. A little bit of a drive for that one. But that is going to be the last weekend of July.
Yep.
Really fun. I think it's free to get in, and they're combining it with like a rock music festival this year. They built a new stage. So we'll be up there with our RV and our dog, and there's going to be like 27 hot sauce vendors. So if you love hot sauce, come to that one. And then the other big one is the Portland Hot Sauce Expo. Do you want to talk about that?
Portland Hot Sauce Expo is August 9th and 10th, or 8th and 9th.
Whatever the second weekend
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
And that one, these are like the best hot sauce makers in the country. The guy who created the Carolina Reaper and now dethroned his Carolina Reaper with the Pepper X, the hottest peppers. So if you want to like go and like do a challenge, a pepper eating challenge, you're welcome to do that there. But there will be 40 hot sauce vendors there from around the country, and these are like really tip top, amazing hot sauces. So that's
at
August.
Onzi.
At Onzi, yeah.
And it's cheap, like 15
$10
bucks to get in or
yeah.
something, yeah. And they always, on the second day, they do a Guinness Book of World Records pepper eating contest on the stage.
It's insane.
Why?
And it's
It's so
hot.
insane.
Like literally it's so hot outside always this weekend in August, and it's on like a dusty, it's outside of Onzi, and then people are up on the stage eating hot peppers. It's pretty brutal, but yeah. It's fun to watch.
I don't need to do that.
They're all like vomiting behind the stage after like chugging milk, and
I just can't wrap my head around that. People like, oh, the endorphins and all that stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of great hot sauce there that's not like killer hot sauce, but yeah. So those will be 2 fun events for anyone who loves hot sauce. Come out.
Have you ever thought of trying to putting something together locally?
Oh, like a hot sauce event?
Just like something like that.
Well, yeah, we were at the Northwest Taco Fest last year. That seemed like maybe a one-time event. That was really fun. We were the sponsoring hot sauce, but that was mostly tacos. But we were going to do this fun event that's. Have you ever seen Hot Ones on YouTube? Everyone always asks us,
Yeah,
have you
Sean.
seen Hot Ones?
If I could only interview like Sean does, it'd be great. It would be like actually good content and like, you know.
Yeah,
But we had thought about doing something similar to that where we have somebody making pizzas while I was asking them questions.
I
and
love
that.
that.
I think
Yeah,
that would be really
yeah.
fun too, but we just haven't. We're still trying to figure this out.
I want to be on that show. I want to eat pizza.
So
But-
we had thought about doing that too, and like moving around to different bars or restaurants and interviewing, the mayor and local people while they eat hot sauces. So.
Yeah, I wonder if you, if you go into a bar and say, hey, I want you to start carrying a sauce, we'd be willing to do a sauce night for you guys or something like that, you know.
Sure.
To where you could just say, hey, listen, wherever you're doing your wing stuff, just promote like a big wing night or something like that.
Right.
And we'll be in here and we'll just debut our 4 sauces or whatever and
that's a
just
good idea.
and do like a wing, like 4 different wings per tray or
Yeah,
something,
we
you know.
could bring in some special sauces, make some hot ones, and
Yeah.
and just have a fun time like that. I think.
You did something like that at First Taste Oregon. Do you guys go to that?
I am a, what do you call the person who lives under rocks? I don't live under a bridge, but I live. Yeah, I just I am not a social person at all.
Well,
I
that's
actually,
surprising
and
to
I know
me.
I do this. It's like, but I'm in a panic with this. But that's why I invite people that I like, because in that way it's just a conversation. We can
Right.
goof around a little bit. And I think what's funny is when we start talking, it gets really, really comfortable. We just actually talking, but then you realize, oh yeah, we've got to like cover the bases. Thank you for coming to Odd Moe's Community Network. You know, all that, all that fancy stuff, and then you'd lose me.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just I'm so excited to be the energy with people that are trying to do kind of what I do, and that's what's like with Ashley was so super, is because she handles it, and you do the same thing where you know how to spread that brand, know how to get that message out there, need to do this stuff where. I'm familiar with like the marketing that's just all papers and phone books and things like that. So the industry in that capacity has passed me by. But I really enjoy the journey that people do.
Yeah.
And then to know you're still surviving.
Still surviving.
And it's exciting because you guys are going, oh, you know, we're trying to do this and trying to do that. And it's just like that energy's always there. So that's what I love about it. And so I'm willing to do this.
Yeah.
Just to get a taste of that.
Yeah.
And so that's really neat. Well, thank you for joining us on
thank you so
our
much.
little
It's
podcast
a
kind of
pleasure.
thing. It's a
Thank you.
work in progress, you know. So
Thank you for joining us on
great.
Odd Moe's
Fun.
Community Networks.
is that what I need to say?
Is that what you can take that part after you leave.
Yeah, yeah.
This YouTube podcast thingy.
Odd Moe's Community Network.
I love
Yes,
that. That's the name of the
That's what we should
podcast.
start. We should make our guests do the intro and the outro.
Yeah, there you
We'll
go.
do it. Thank you for joining us at Odd Moe's Community Network.
See?
There you go. Yeah,
Better than I've done it from any time. So
Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of Odd Moe's Community Networks. Next week, we're bringing the flavor with Tom of Dad's Dinners. Hear how his personal journey to learn how to cook turned into a social media sensation and his very own seasoning line. Plus, we'll be joined by Arthur from Extreme Graphics to talk creativity, branding, and community impact. You won't want to miss it. See you next week.